Welcome everyone to this Committee of Whole meeting on Monday, February the 2nd. We will start with the land acknowledgement. I am Councillor Dawn Quinn and I'll be the chair for this part of the meeting. On February the 2nd, 2026, we acknowledge that this sacred land in which Smith Falls is now located has been the site of human activity for over 10,000 years and is rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation. We are grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and the water in order that we might meet here today. We are also grateful for the Algonquin people for their contribution in making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smith Falls. We are mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together we care for this land and each other, drawing on strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, being mindful of generations to come. We'll call the meeting to order at 5:01. The approval of the agenda, recommended motion that February 2nd, 2026 Committee of Whole meeting agenda be approved as circulated. Councillor Robinson, Councillor Miller, all in favor. Thank you very much. And any disclosure of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest or general nature thereof. Seeing none, we'll move forward. No approvals of minutes, delegations, and I don't believe there's any director's reports tonight. Moving right on, Committee of Whole consent reports, and we do not have an in-camera session. We're right into priority issues, and we're into budget with Director Dalber, and he's remote tonight. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and through you and to Council, I just wanted to come back and present the work that staff have done since our last meeting at Committee of the Whole to be able to follow Council direction and come up with some ideas to be able to get that that budget down to the 4% mark. And with some issues to do with the position, the locate permit technician position, and the Railway Museum. So what you see before you, and I'm going to have to guess at where we are in this because I'm not, I can't quite see the slides. If you go to the slide with the changes from the second draft, there's not a horrible lot of changes here. We just did some surgical decisions in order to fulfill Council's direction. The first being that we removed the locate permit technician position, which did bring that. If Council remembers, at the 4% rate from the last meeting, we had $135,000 that was still remaining. And there we go. Sorry, I'll stop and wait. There we go. The $85,000 was part of the 135 that we needed to deal with. So the decision was to pull that position out, and we'll address it again in a future year. Next slide, please. The Railway Museum of Eastern Ontario contribution. Staff weren't able to find the $50,000 in savings without affecting service levels. So what we did is in this presentation, we provided that Council can choose between increasing the 2026 levy by $50,000, which would be just under 1/4%. Otherwise, if Council is recognizing the 2026 contribution for the roof project, specifically for the roof project, and becomes a one-time expense and therefore qualifies to be funded from the tax stabilization reserve. And in the presentation in the next couple of slides, as far as the numbers go, staff have gone ahead knowing that there was a desire by Council to provide that money to the Railway Museum. So we've gone ahead and put the presentation together with an assumption that that would be the direction that Council might want to move in. Next slide, please.
Can we just have a second Councillor Miller, did you have a question?
I do. Is it okay to ask a question now, or do you want them at the end?
No, please do.
Okay, excuse me. In the MOU we had with the Railway Museum last year, the funding was to be used for capital expenditures. So I'm not sure if this question is for you or CAO Morris, but can we still take the money from tax stabilization if we use the words capital expenditures, or does it have to be specific? And I don't think it matters too much to them, other than they've got a list this long of projects. If Trillium came through or some other funder, could they reassign our money?
So I know, and that's a great question. I know that our assumption in moving this way and with this wording was based on the presentation that the museum made, specifically highlighting the roof museum. As far as the changing of the wording goes, the big part about using the tax stabilization reserve is it's intended for one-time uses. All of a sudden, a furnace breaks down, HVAC, a boiler breaks down, and that's where partway through the year, and that's kind of where you draw it from. The problem with using it for a regular ongoing event is that you start the next year's budget needing that money again, and then you start in a negative position. But so I guess where I'm getting at, I just kind of want to explain that for the public, but to say if it was another capital project that was a one-time project, it was identified as, this is a capital project that we're not going to need to do on an ongoing basis, then I believe that would fit the category of the use of the funds.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, so next slide, please.
Sorry.
So-
Another question.
Oh,
Councillor
sorry.
McKenna.
No, thank you, Madam Chair. Just, I guess while we're on the topic, I would be supportive of the staff recommendation of finding that roof project funding of $50,000 from the tax stabilization reserve. So before we left it, because it'll influence the rest of the budget and it gets us down to the 4. But
Around the horseshoe, I see nodding heads.
yes.
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Great, thank you. So the next slide just kind of comes back and looks at the summary numbers again. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but you can see highlighted in yellow there is the 4%. And there weren't too many other changes other than those two. And remembering that they were the two amounts that added up to that 135,000 that came out of that was falling out at the bottom of our last meeting. Next slide, please. And the CAO is going to be speaking to economic development and tourism shortly here. Next slide, please. And as you can see, the 2026 budget, total net budget is 0, where the last meeting that had been the $135,000 that fell out. So we were able to tidy it up and to be able to come back with that direction from council. If there's no other questions on this portion, I'll turn it over to CAO Morris to talk about economic development and tourism.
Sorry. Councillor McKenna.
Thank you again. Just wanted to acknowledge that and appreciate the staff, particularly Public Works, pulling that position. I know it's an important position. I get that. But I just felt that this year, with the money being as tight, the 4% increase was as high as I could go. But I do acknowledge that it's not easy putting a budget together, and I'm sure we'll see it again next year. So I didn't want to let that go by without thanking Director McMahon personally.
Thank you for that.
And through the chair, thank you. Thank you for those comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So with the appetite to look a little more closely at the economic development and tourism budget, we put a couple of slides together to take a deeper dive. So I just want to walk through them and answer any questions that the committee may have. So we've broken the department down into the divisions that contribute to the overall department. So on the slide you see on the screen, we have, and I'll focus on the 2026 proposed budget column, the middle column. So of the total budget, economic development, communications, and marketing is about 395,000 of that. If we break that down even further, if we pull communications out, so that's all communications and marketing. So we have a staff person, salary and benefits for that staff person. We have about 52,500 for print for communications. So that's our print advertising, a bit of radio advertising, printing the calendars that we produce every year, printing the, although we don't do a lot of printed copies, but the annual report, for instance, comes out of that budget as well. That's 52.5. We have what's called a CRM, content resource management. That's basically the fees to support our website. That's about 24,000. So communications and marketing is about approximately 165,000 of the 395. So if we pull that out, pure economic development, I know this question has come up, why do we spend 900,000 on? We don't. We spend 230,000 on pure economic development. So if we look at the department, we break it down, we have 230 for economic development, about 165 for communications and marketing, 248 for tourism, and 250,000 for heritages. So roughly $250,000 for each of those areas, and 165 for communications. So I think there may have been some misconceptions about the magnitude of that number, but there are a lot of things happening within that budget. So we just wanted to break that down and show the components of it. On the next page, logical questions came up about what does the organizational realignment mean? Well, we've taken the budget for the community development coordinator, moved it over to community services. There was a small supportive budget that went with it, things like Citizen of the Year Award, the community awards, there were business awards. I mentioned at one of the previous meetings we needed monies because our plaques and awards are dwindling. We need to restock the supply, so we put money in to do that. And also a few events transferred over as well. So staff got together, we looked at all the events. There are 12 events that we support, the town supports or delivers throughout the year. And we categorized them into tourism related events, an event that would attract someone from outside of Smiths Falls to come here and hopefully open their wallets. And we categorize those differently than community building events like Canada Day, like Celebration of Lights. We support the Santa Claus Parade. Those types of events are more community development, for generally geared for local people. So we've separated them out. That's why the 40,000 for events was split. 26 of it went to community services to support the Canada Day, the Truth and Reconciliation is another one. And the rest, 14,000, stayed within tourism to support things like helping to activate bike night downtown. We've got it's a cultural event, I forget the name of it, but events that are meant to draw tourists to Smiths Falls. So I want to point out that in 2025, the events budget was 35,000. We've actually increased it by 5,000, and we just split them. Those events are still going to happen. They'll be delivered slightly differently internally. Okay. So with that, if we move on to economic development, aside from the staffing, so we have the manager's position, and then we have the tourism, culture, and tourism and culture coordinator. We have monies for BRE, that's the Business Retention and Expansion Investment Attraction Program. We fund other things out of that, like the Summer Eats, the Winter Eats program that comes out of that budget. Content resource management is actually communications, not economic development. My apologies, that's in the wrong place. Other things would include physician recruitment. We budget $15,000 for physician recruitment as our contribution to help the hospital and the community recruit primary healthcare providers. So that gives you a flavor for economic development. Tourism, on the other hand, we've got resources in there. The biggest one is the $45,000 that we pay the Chamber to run the Victoria Park Marina and the pump outs and the docking and all that stuff, and visitor greeting and so on. At the Visitor Center, we have tourism marketing at $50,000. We have events at $14,000. I talked about that. And tourism investments at $35,000. The next two bullets describe those in some detail. Tourism marketing and social media campaigns, printed materials, the visitor's guide. We pay to print the visitor's guide. We work with the Chamber and the DBA on that. It's a wonderful collaboration, but we pay for the printing of that. And then we have some traditional media. We have digital ads as well that we buy as part of our tourism promotion. New this year, we've put monies in, $9,000 for destination plan, fairly small amount of money for something that's going to, I hope, give us a big return on that investment. We have a wayfinding signage program. It's $10,000. It's probably a modest amount, but it's a good start to start attracting people, getting people off the highway to stop and see our community and open their wallets. We have a small amount, $5,000 goes to Lanark County Tourism. We're part of the Rail Trail Loop Partnership. That costs us $3,000 to be part of that. So there are a lot of small things. Collectively, they add up. But if you break it down, they're all meant to promote tourism in town. So perhaps I'll stop there. That's a lot of information. If you had questions, I'd be delighted to answer.
Councillor Miller.
Thank you. Thanks so much, CAO. Boris, I feel a lot better about the tourism budget, seeing that there's other areas where there's some wiggle room. I'm very excited about our new ECDEV and tourism manager and seeing what their strategy is for moving forward. People are staying closer to home and we have a real opportunity right now. So the fact that we've got tourism marketing and tourism investment dollars, I'm reassured. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Okay, thank you. So I'll turn it back to Mr. Dauber to finish the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next slide has a summary. So during the process of these budget meetings, since we first started discussing in December, we've had a number of changes that have brought us to these final conclusions. One is a 4% tax levy increase. We had started out with not a tax levy increase, but bringing to council information on what the pressures were, which added up to 8.3%. So staff were able to work to get 4.3% of that off. This amounts to about $136 levy increase for that average household, and about a $64 increase for water and wastewater based on prior council approval for the 5.5% for water and 3.5% for wastewater increase. One of the big highlights, again, I pointed out, I know we've talked about it, but we still want to continue to celebrate the fact that we do have over $13 million increase in the capital grants. Next slide. And we're certainly grateful to the province for that. So what's next? If council approves tonight, then we will be moving on to the first and second draft coming to council on February the 9th. Tonight, we do have the first and second reading for capital and water coming tonight. So again, if council approves this budget, we'll move on for the first and second reading on on the 9th, and if not, then we'll be looking at a fourth draft of the budget at Committee of the Whole on February the 9th. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Report, and thanks staff. I'm comfortable at the 4% rate. And we do, council understands and staff understand just the difficult times a lot of our residents are facing economically. We understand that. If someone is in a challenging position to get their taxes paid, they can come in and talk to staff about making arrangements. I'm assuming you'll do everything you can to help residents if they find themselves in that situation, Director Delbert.
Yes, through the chair. Yeah, we've set up basically we've got a template when people find themselves in hard times to be able to catch up with the taxes that if they happen to be behind, if they in order to get that caught up but keep current with their current taxes, and how to do that over a 2-year period. So we have been working with people. We have had people reach out, explain their circumstances, and we have been working with residents with that template. It's been successful, and we've seen quite an uptick in people looking to clear off their taxes.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much.
Just on that, one of the things that I think that's excellent. And I think it gives the whole town a much better feeling when they can think they're not going to just shut the door on me. They're willing to talk. They're willing to work with me. So I need to speak out. So that is excellent, excellent. Because there are people having a hard time. And now it's time for us to do what we can to help them. So thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments? You can continue.
So that's the end of my presentation on this.
Did you have a question?
No, just giving you a thumbs up on the budget.
I think we've got thumbs up
Yes.
around the horseshoe. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Now moving on, we will go to Compliance Audit Committee. This is with Clerk Costello, please.
There's 10.1. Go back.
Oh, sorry. I got ahead of myself.
What did you, oh, sorry, I didn't catch that.
We haven't discussed the water and wastewater.
No, go ahead with that with Director Dover. I wasn't sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and to Council. This is the bylaw to pass the water rates for 2026. Those rates, as in the past couple of years, are, as I've spoken before, 5.5% for water and 3.5% for wastewater. Staff have prepared the bylaw to be able to pass that, and we are looking for a little bit different here. We're looking for a first, second, and third reading tonight. The reason is that we have bills to be sent out, and we didn't want to split it up with having the third reading next week. That would tie our hands as far as sending out the a water billing with last year's rates. So as Council had previously approved, these are the rates, and we're looking for all 3 readings tonight. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Mayor Panko?
Yeah, thank you. I'll support the recommended increase, and that's what we've had in our rate study since a number of years ago. But we also need to recognize that we still have a fair amount of subsidy from the tax rolls to cover the water bills. And I know we are plan in place to better understand, plan to eliminate or reduce that subsidy. And that hopefully we'll have that by spring, and this council will actually make a decision how we're going to manage it going forward. Because I think it's, as we've talked before, it's an unusual situation where you have so much tax revenue covering, subsidizing water and wastewater rates. I think we're sitting here 2 months ago, I probably would have been, and at this stage, I probably would have been pushing more for a higher water rate increase and savings on the tax side, but recognizing we're sort of the 11th hour, we need to get this done. But my hope is that we can come together maybe by mid-year and have a conclusion on how we're going to solve that problem going forward.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Any other comments? Councillor McKenna?
Just supporting the recommended rates for water and wastewater.
And how is everyone feeling around? Thumbs up? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So now on to the capital budget.
So thank you, Madam Chair. So this had been passed at the last committee of the whole, a direction from council to come back with the bylaw. It's exactly as presented at that meeting, which is why there wasn't a summary presented in the slide deck earlier. So now we're just looking for the bylaw to be able to pass that the capital rates for 2026. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions? Comments? Mayor Panko?
Sure. So it's again, I think we continue that trend of getting a lot of capital work done. I think as Treasurer mentioned in his presentation, we're grateful to have received a significant amount of provincial funding, which helps us with manage our capital needs going forward. And we're still waiting on another grant application, which hopefully will help support further capital work. But I think overall, I think the key thing here is that we are making the required contribution to not just maintain, but to rehabilitate and replace our assets as they age, as well as a lot of items in here which really speak to improve the quality of life for our residents. I'm pleased we have $250,000 to advance our work towards the eventual replacement of the youth arena. I think it's important that we make that commitment. We work that towards work on the detailed design and engineering to make sure that we can be shovel ready and seeking further grant applications in the future, knowing that we can't do this type of project on our own. So I think a lot of positives in here, and over $21 million in capital work speaks to our commitment to really getting done what needs to get done.
Thank you for those comments. Anyone else?
Just could you all please speak up, because anyone who's hard of hearing won't be able to hear what you're saying. I can barely hear you.
I'll try next time, Chris.
No, it's everybody.
Okay.
It's not just one person.
Councillor Miller?
Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm downloading this or having a problem on my computer. There's 3 pages here. Am I missing one by chance? It has cut off the department name on the left-hand side. I know we've seen it many times, but I'm just wanting to make sure the public sees the right one. Is that how you see it?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so we, yes, Councilor Miller, you are correct. It has cut off the department names. We will do a repost on the agenda for that and make sure that it is all in clear view when we post the bylaw.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Councillor McGuire?
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's great that out of the about almost $22 million of capital projects, 87% is in water, wastewater, and public work projects, and we know how much that work is needed. So excited to see the projects underway next year.
Good. Any other comments? The only comment, You've done a lot of work, very, very impressive. But I will tell you, I know people kind of shudder and say we put our taxes up and blah, 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 what are we getting? But having been at Roma, I had some wonderful conversations with other municipalities, and we're not alone. It's right across our province. We're not alone. Everyone's having the same struggles. So to see the work that's accomplished here is wonderful. Even if our taxes do have to go up, we still have to pay the bills. So it has to happen. So thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? No? Okay, so we will move forward, and we will have Clerk Costello please come and report on the Compliance Audit Committee.
Thank you. The next 3 reports are all election related. We are at that time close to election where there's certain policies and bylaws that we need to put in place. The first one this evening is regarding the Compliance Audit Committee. This is a committee that we've had in place, I believe, for the last 3 or 4 elections. It is a committee that is appointed to look at financial statements. If somebody is questioning a financial statement that is submitted, this committee gets together. What we're planning on doing for 2026, as we have with previous elections, is having the Lanark County clerks get together and form not only the terms of reference that are included in the package, but as well to appoint people that would look at applications that were submitted from across the county. We find that you get a good variety of people from the county, from different parts of the county. To date, Smith Falls has not had to we haven't had any applications filed to look at financial statements, but should it happen, this is a legislated requirement that we have in place. So the package that you have tonight is very similar to what was passed in 2018 as well as 2022. However, we're looking, we did change the per diem or the mileage rate. So looking for council to pass a bylaw at our next meeting for the Compliance Audit Committee. So and at the point when this is passed, we'll get together, put out an advertisement for membership to the committee, and the members will be formally appointed by each municipality within the county. So that will be forthcoming in the next couple months.
Questions, comments? Thumbs up. Thank you, Carrie.
The second report is regarding election-related resources policy. Again, this isn't a new policy. However, I have updated it to include some more definitions. We included the scope to include volunteers and put more detail regarding events, facilities, and properties. So what this policy does is it gives both candidates as well as staff very clear parameters about what can and can't be used by candidates during an election campaign. So it prohibits candidates from using municipal resources, municipal facilities. It spells out about social media accounts being not part of a municipality, as well as using logos and things of that nature. Again, this isn't a new policy, but I did expand on it a bit to include social media and things of that nature for 2026. And the full document has been included in your package.
Thank you. Thumbs up.
And the last report, again, is election related. It's regarding our lame duck period, restricted acts of council. So should council, current council members, if I have over 75% running again, we'd be fine. However, if 75% we don't have that allocation, then we could be in what is deemed a lame duck circumstance. So there are certain provisions that council cannot do if we're in a lame duck position regarding any expenditures over 50,000, the sale or disposition of municipal property, the hiring or firing of employees, things of that nature. So in the past, we have always delegated this authority to the CAO. We've done so for the past 2 elections at least. That way there could be continuity of business during the time of lame duck. So there are 2 periods when we're in lame duck. The first being from August 21st, it goes from August 21st to November 14th. So that's nomination day right through to the day where this council's terms of office concludes. So looking at passing a bylaw to delegating this authority to CAO Morris so that there can be business continuity in the circumstance that we are lame duck.
Comment, Councillor McKenna?
So just for a math, not a great math person, what is 75% of council?
That's a great question.
5 1/4.
Pardon me?
5 1/4.
5 1/4.
I just wanted the people to be aware of that. I was at 5, but 5 1/4. That's great. So if 5 people choose to run again from this council, then we're not in a lame duck or restricted use. And if more than or less than that,
Then
then
we
we are.
Yes.
Okay? And yeah, great.
Any other questions, comments?
Good.
Thumbs up. Thank you. Costello, thank you. Town Hall Roof Award. This is with Director Clark, please.
Good evening, everyone. So tonight, council is being asked to approve the award of the Town Hall roof replacement contract and to confirm the roofing system staff are recommending for this important civic building. The Town Hall roof has reached the end of its service life. A professional roof assessment completed in the last couple of years confirmed that replacement is now required to prevent further deterioration and risk of ongoing water infiltration. Town Hall is a municipally designated heritage property and one of the most visible civic buildings in our downtown. Fundamentally, this project is about protecting that asset responsibly while ensuring we're making a sound long-term investment of public dollars. Staff of the Community Services Department issued a competitive RFQ back in November, which included a mandatory site visit and closed in December. 5 compliant bids were received. Proposals were evaluated using a weighted scoring system that looked at price, experience, project time, and warranty coverage. Based on that evaluation, a McKay sheet metal was the highest scoring proponent and is being recommended for contract award. Council is also being asked to direct staff to proceed with their preferred roofing material. Staff are recommending a concealed fastener standing seam metal roof rather than a traditional architectural asphalt shingle system such as we have now. While asphalt shingles have a significantly lower upfront cost to the tune of about $50,000 per side, they typically last about 20 to 25 years. A standing seam metal roof has a service life of about 40 to 60 years, which of course is longer than the 20 to 25 of asphalt. It's also rated to perform significantly better in snow and freeze-thaw conditions such as what we see in this province. I'll use today as a good example. And requires less long-term maintenance. So overall, we'd be looking at a significant cost savings in terms of time and labor. When we look broadly at this over the life of the building, a metal roof provides better overall value and reduces the risk of future damage to the building structure. It also looks really nice. And 2 examples in the immediate area are the Burger King across the street and our town square. The Municipal Heritage Committee was consulted as part of this project. It's worthy of note that the roof itself is not a heritage defining feature on either side of the facility. So replacement is permitted and there are no restrictions on the type of metal and material, the type of material used. However, the MHC did note that their preference was metal, as metal roofing systems are generally more consistent with traditional institutional buildings. As noted in the report, while the roof is not a heritage defining element, the recessed eaves on the facility are. With a metal roof, these would be impacted, and asphalt less so. Any required heritage approvals related to decorative trim would be addressed as part of the implementation. That would be a separate conversation with MHC. The approved capital budget in 2025 was $225,000. The recommended approach replaces the most deteriorated section of the roof now, which is of course the other side. This one is also rapidly declining, but we can get a couple of years if we so wish. We're focusing on the Welcome Center at this point. And using the longer life metal system, it would keep the project within the approved budget. Remaining funds can be used to support necessary insulation upgrades and related work that would improve overall building health, including some much needed repairs to the dental work on the Welcome Center side. So the recessed eaves, which are part of the heritage designation. In sum, we believe this recommendation balances fiscal responsibility, heritage stewardship, and long-term asset management. So we are looking for your support. I will say I've waffled back and forth on this a number of times, but we had a really good discussion at the Community Services Department, and we think that this is the right way to go. I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Councillor McGuire?
Thanks. When the discussions were happening, what leaned to option 1 over option 2?
In terms of one or both?
Yeah, I'm thinking when I look at option 2, we'd save the mobilization costs, we'd save the the uncertainty of what the market might do and if we could find room to make it work in this year. If we're going to be looking at it in 2027 anyway, there seems to be more advantages to do it now at the price it is now than to wait.
So if I could, I think we did speak to that, although obviously we're constrained by the budget. So I think for both sides, I think it's the metal itself would fall within the construct of the budget if we were to extend it, if we were to double it. I do have some concerns around insulation as well, because that is an outside cost, and any of the dental work of the recessed eaves, that's additional as well. So I'm confident we could get it done for the one side within the 225 that we have. I'm not sure if we doubled the budget, we could get it done for both.
So I guess a follow-up to CAO Morris or Director Dauber, what would the implications be of, if it's just the fact that we've got an envelope that's a certain size and we're trying to stay within it, is there, what's the ability to expand that at this stage?
Yeah, through the chair. So good question. If you recall the budget discussion on the capital side, we talked about reducing it by 1.7 million, which we did, and you've now endorsed. We did that to ensure that our tax-supported capital reserve would not enter into negative territory. So we removed 1.7, and Mr. Dauber could provide more accurate numbers, but the logical place to fund an extension or expansion of this project would be the capital reserve. But we need to be mindful of the negative position it could put us in. I think it was in 2027 we'd be in a negative position. So so that's one. That would be the logical place to fund it. That's where we're funding the approved 2025 budget. Another option, again, is going back to the discussion about the tax stabilization reserve. That would be another option to look at. It is a one-time expense. Typically, as Mr. Dauber indicated, that's for an in-budget change that happens midway through the year. You can draw on the tax stabilization reserve. We're not in that position, so we could increase the budget. But so there are two potential funding sources. We would need to look at it's called a continuity reserve, the balance in the reserve over time, with the funding announcement we recently got, and perhaps another one on the way that might change the negative position we predicted we would be in 2027. So some analysis would allow us to come back if you felt that was an appropriate option. I think in the fullness of time, it's a good option to do it all at once. You don't mobilize twice, you do it all at once. We could come back with some options. Those are the two that come to mind.
So I guess my preference would be to go back to staff to look at what option 2 would come back with us with, and I don't know, we'll see. But I'm happy with option 1 too, if that's the consensus.
You're paying off.
Yeah, I agree with Councillor McGuire. I think if we're going to mobilize, if this roof has no more than a couple of years before we're potentially running into problems, my preference would be we go ahead and get both done. You didn't mention color. Has that been decided too?
No.
Okay, so that'd be another discussion. But overall, and the concealed, I assume it means there are no visible screws or rivets or anything, like it's all hidden, right? Okay. So I think the look would be good. The durability, lifespan would be good. It'd be a bigger one-time investment that will likely last the next 100 years. And if we can mobilize once and McKay holds the pricing on a I guess a per square foot or square yard basis, whatever they use, then I would prefer we go ahead and get both done as well. And whether it's a restabilization reserve or maybe a little bit of surplus that ends up this year goes into our capital reserve as well, which would help out. I think it just makes sense to get it all done at once.
Councillor McKenna?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I would prefer to stay with option 1 for a couple of reasons. Talking about mobilization, it's not like we're building a bridge or tearing up a road. It's scaffolding and roofing. We're not shutting half the place down. So I don't know I like the idea of phase 1, phase 2. I also don't know what they'll find when they start ripping off the old roof and you can see some of the eave repairs so we don't really know what's in it till you get into it. So I'm more comfortable sticking with the original plan. And then I had a couple of other questions, but on this topic, I prefer to stick with the staff recommendation.
Councillor Robinson?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Councilor McGuire is going to fall off as chair. I agree 100% with this. Because the cost of a steel roof is probably going to go up in the next couple of years, and we'll be looking at a significant increase. So I would be more comfortable having it done now if we can find a way to fund it from existing reserves.
Councillor Miller?
Thank you. I also agree with Councillor McGuire. I think if we could get some numbers back and look at getting it all done at once, I think it would be wise.
Just if I could, would it be possible or a potential opportunity for us to award the contract, have them mobilized on the first, because it would be nice to secure their, first of all, their numbers, but also get them booked in for work. And then I come back with more concrete information about the second side. They can only do one side at a time. So if we get them started over there and then maybe extend over here, is that a potential? I'm open to possibilities.
Mayor Panko?
I prefer we go ahead and confirm pricing for this side, contingent on any really big negative surprises on that side. If it turns out there's $200,000 more to spend in roof repairs there, then we'd have to rethink it. But I think if we can secure the pricing, when we look at the bids, McKay was considerably lower than anyone else. I don't know if it's because they have access to suppliers at good pricing compared to the others. I think to Councilor Robinson's comment, we also have a trade agreement between the Canada and the U.S. Currently tariffs on steel and aluminum that could get worse if we go through the renewal of CUSMA or the threats of who knows what's going to happen, right? So I prefer if we nail it down, but it would be contingent on no real big negative surprises on the first side.
Councillor McKenna?
Will this have any impact on our moving out for tender? Was that within scope to change the deliverable this much?
So if I may, we actually had a number of different options. So it was an optional quote on this side as well in asphalt and standing seam. So the total for both sides for the roof itself or for the material installation is $310,000. So it's 113 and change for the one. It's $310,785.84 for this. What isn't included is any insulation or any implications on the eaves. The McKay doesn't, from what I understand, doesn't do that work. So we'd have to find somebody else to look at what that would cost. Preliminary suggestions from a high-level market assessment for the insulation would be about $25,000 per side.
Panko?
Wasn't this side all insulated when we rebuilt it?
We believe so, yes.
Okay. So should be 25,000 savings, I would hope.
Ideally, yes. But we know that the other side doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
It's very hollow.
Councillor McKenna?
Well, that's good to know. And also the advantages here, I would be interested in understanding for our climate action work group, would be very keen to understand what the positive implications are our carbon footprint once we make these changes, both the insulation and the steel roofing. So I'd like that tracked somehow, looking to staff. So there's that. And my other questions, if I may, Madam Chair, is there pigeon deterrent part of the vote or the expertise? Do we have that in mind as we do this?
Yes. So through the chair, there's a number of different ways of attacking that we're moving towards. So we do have some fingers is what they're called, I guess, that we're going to be installing, the spikes that we could more easily install actually on a metal roof as well. And they would be a little bit more seamless and you wouldn't necessarily see them because they are quite draconian. So there is that. We've also got some other, we've moved to a new pest control group that's hopefully going to get better results.
And my final one is around the water capture off the roof. I know we've modified the visitor center, welcome center side, and we put some rain barrels there and we tried. So I just, which is wonderful, by the way. So I just want to ensure that the new eaves and downspouts would feed into either some sort of a water capture system. That's all.
Check. Yep, we certainly can do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments? How are we feeling around the table? We're going to do both roofs. We're going to go for that. I think you're getting nodding heads on.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, moving forward. Committee, board, and external organization updates. We don't have any, and we have for information, a resolution from September 29th, 2025, or a resolution from Edwardsburg Cardinal, St. Lawrence Region Energy Task Force. This is for information for us. Clerk Costello.
Thank you. This was on the last committee of the whole, so I don't want everybody to think it was just a repeat. However, CAO Morris would like to speak to this item.
Yeah, through the chair. So this started as a, it was catalyzed by the work that the IESO are doing across Ontario to predict future energy demands and to meet that demand through additional generation and distribution. So they've started in Western Ontario. They're doing a project or a study in Northern Ontario. I think it's Southwestern, Central Ontario, Eastern, and North. So they're preparing to do the study in Eastern Ontario. And so Edwardsburg Cardinal, I think, saw that as an opportunity to look on a more local scale, and they call it the St. Lawrence Region Corridor. So they provided a mapping, and Smith Falls is part of that catchment area. And so I've been in touch with the economic development folks at Leeds, United Counties of Leeds and Granville, and they may be switching gears a little bit in how this is done. So I'm working with them to understand the mechanism to provide input, but my advice to us is that we be at the table, because our future electricity demands, we've had indications in the past that there may be some restrictions in the amount of power available in town. And if to feed into our business retention and expansion efforts, we need to make sure we have enough electricity if we're attracting industries and employment areas to town. So all that to say, if we can park this for a moment, I'll bring back a little more succinct information in terms of what that mechanism looks like for us to participate. But I feel strongly we should be at the table when those discussions occur. So with committee's indulgence, I'll bring this back. So I wouldn't suggest you pass a resolution to support Edwardsburg Cardinal yet, but I'll bring something back for you to consider.
Councillor McKenna.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for bringing it back. I can't remember if I spoke to this. I think I did at the last, when it did come up. Is that it was my understanding that Edwardsburg Cardinal actually had a large industry that wanted to open in their community, and they couldn't get the electrical juice that they needed, and therefore lost that opportunity. And none of us ever want to be in a state like that. So whether it's the IESO or more local focus, I'd be very supportive and look forward to. That's how important this is. One AI center opening up somewhere in Ontario would draw a lot of any surplus energy we have. And I know the province is doing a lot to try and get ahead of it, but the demand's only going to grow. So it's an important topic. Thank you.
Thank you. So this will come back later with more information for you. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, notice of motions, none. So we're at the point of adjournment. That the committee adjourned its proceedings at 5:55 PM and stand so adjourned until the next duly called committee meeting. All in favor?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to this meeting of Smith Falls Town Council for Monday, February 2nd, 2026. On February 2nd, 2026, we acknowledge that the sacred land which Smith Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years and is rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. We're grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order that we might meet here today. We're also grateful to the Algonquin people for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smith Falls. We're mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on the strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, be mindful of generations to come. I will call the meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. and the agenda approval is with Councillor McKenna, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Robinson that the February 2nd, 2026 regular council meeting agenda be approved as circulated.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor McKenna, seconded by Councillor Robinson, that the February 2nd, 2026 regular council meeting agenda be approved as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Ask for disclosure of pecuniary interest and or conflict of interest in general nature thereof. Seeing none, motion for approval of the minutes is with Councillor Miller.
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Robinson that the minutes of the January 5th, 2026 and January 12th, 2026 council meetings be approved as circulated.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Miller, seconded by Councillor Robinson, that the minutes of the January 5th, 2026 and January 12th, 2026 council meetings be approved as circulated. All in favor?
I have
Oh,
a
sorry.
comment on the minutes.
Sorry, comment on the minutes, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
If I may, just that I went to review the minutes for January 5th and the 12th, and they're not posted. So I would like to have a chance. I was looking for something else
Okay.
in the minutes, and they're there.
I did post them on Wednesday,
Oh,
but I will defer the
Oh.
adoption until next
That-
meeting so I can confirm.
I sent you the email this morning looking for the
Yeah,
minutes, and you said they weren't available. I couldn't find them. under-
I was thought you were referencing committee of the whole, not council.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
if
Oh, just council. My apologies. I was looking for committee of the whole.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're fine?
I'm fine.
Okay. All those in favor? Thank you. Reports. Yes. Councillor McKenna.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Southeast Public Health Unit had its board meeting last week in Kingston. First one of this year. We're officially 1 year old as the new amalgamated public health unit. A lot of discussion around the rural health strategy, and staff have been asked to go through. So we're, as you can imagine, the 401 corridor is fairly well serviced between Brockville, Kingston, and Belleville with public health resources. But the catchment area runs past Marmara and up to May, like it's a huge. So the health unit has is developing a rural health strategy plan to see how through equity and improvements to access, whether that be in the satellite offices that exist or in mobile services. So by September, we will have a plan on how we can improve access to services for the much greater maybe not as populated, but area-wise. And there will be a public consultation process built into that. So when that comes around, I would encourage us to, as a council or staff, to look at that opportunity to participate in it, because it'll be important feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further reports? No? Just a couple myself, a couple quick ones. The Smith Falls Equity for All Committee has two subgroups, the Ukrainian Working Group and the Food Security Working Group. We both met last week. The stage, I think, I've got an ongoing dialogue with Mayor Harinkin from Zolochiv, and he continues to send some videos and correspondence, expressing gratitude for the relationship and the work that we've done, expressing concerns about the challenges that their community is facing. They're looking at having to expand hospitals to accommodate some of the needs in the area. Of course, a number of military personnel who have been injured or recovering there. So we're trying to work on ways of trying to continue to support that. And the Falls Food Hub is hosting a Ukrainian feast on February 16th on Family Day as an opportunity to, help communicate and support this twinning relationship we have with Zolochiv, to also give people the opportunity to experience some great Ukrainian food and entertainment. So great thing for the family. I think from 4:30 to 6:30 on Family Day. And Food Security Group, again, working hard, a lot of creativity, a lot of ideas how we're going to try to enhance food security. I'll be coming back with more details on that probably within about a month or so. And if there's no more reports, I've got one announcement myself, just that as we near the end of this term, it's a great opportunity for people who may have an interest in joining a town committee to give a trial run. Your commitment would be from now until the end of this term, November 14th. And so we're looking for, on the Smiths Falls Equity for All Committee, we're looking for 2 youth. The Municipal Heritage Committee, we have vacancies of 2 citizen members and 2 youth. Fire Protection Working Group, looking for 1 citizen member and 2 youth. Public Arts Advisory Committee, 2 vacancies. Heritage Museum Advisory Board, 4 vacancies. Planning Advisory Committee, 1 vacancy, and the Accessibility Advisory Committee, we have room for 2. So anybody who's listening wants to get interested, get involved in the municipality, a great opportunity to do so before we make a 4-year commitment next term. And I also have a few proclamations to make today. The first is Black History Month, February 2026. Whereas February is Black History Month, a time to celebrate and honor the diversity, history, and culture of Black Canadians and their many contributions to our thriving and prosperous Canada. Whereas Black Canadians have played an instrumental role in shaping the development of Canada's heritage and identity, Black History Month is therefore a time to recognize these contributions and to foster belonging and inclusion through continued education of the stories and history of Black Canadians. Whereas a corporation of the Town of Smiths Falls is committed to fostering a thriving and inclusive community that opposes racial discrimination in all its forms, including working to eliminate discrimination and marginalization often faced by Black Canadians. Now therefore be resolved that I, Mayor Sean Panko, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2026 as Black History Month in the Town of Smiths Falls. And Wear Red Canada Day. Whereas heart disease is the #1 killer of women worldwide and the leading cause of premature death for Canadian women, a fact unknown to many women and their healthcare providers. Whereas the Canadian Women's Heart Health Alliance is an organization of volunteer health professionals and patients working hard to improve women's heart health. Whereas Wear Red Canada Day is celebrated annually to raise awareness for all Canadians, but especially Canadian women, to be mindful, curious, and proactive in the management of their heart health and wellness. Whereas we want to see better prevention, diagnosis, and care, and fewer women dying prematurely from heart disease. Therefore, I, Sean Panko, Mayor of the Town of Smiths Falls, do hereby proclaim February 13th as Wear Red Canada Day in the Town of Smiths Falls. And my third proclamation is Have a Heart Day, February 14th, 2026. Whereas Have a Heart Day is a child and youth-led reconciliation event that brings together caring Canadians to help ensure First Nations children have the opportunity to grow up safely at home, get a good education, be healthy, and be proud of who they are. Whereas Have a Heart Day has been celebrated each year on February 14th since 2012 and was created by the First Nations Child and Family Caring Society of Canada. Whereas Have a Heart Day is to bring together Canadians to support equity for First Nations children and to end discrimination in services. Whereas participants, including schools and organizations, are encouraged to send Valentine's Day cards or letters to the Prime Minister and members of Parliament, and members of your council if you want to, host events or rallies in schools and communities, create heart gardens to honor residential school survivors and lost children, and use a hashtag Have a Heart Day on social media. Therefore, I, Sean Panko, Mayor of the Town of Smiths Falls, do hereby proclaim February 14th, 2026 as Have a Heart Day in the Town of Smiths Falls. And before we move forward with their agenda, I forgot just one brief report. Theo Morris and I met with some of the executive team from Hershey's last week, just to let the community know that while there's not much to share, nothing more to share really at this stage, there is some openness and ongoing dialogue. And of course, we're proud to have Hershey's part of our community. Of course, no insight yet into operations. There's a lot of work going on, but Just want to make sure we provide the committee with that kind of, and the council with that update. And at that, moving ahead, we have a consent agenda with Councilor McGuire, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Robinson that a bylaw to adopt a policy that provides, that the items, I'm reading the wrong page, that the items in consent report number 012026 received from the clerk be received and adopted.
Thank you. Moved by Councilor McGuire, seconded by Councilor Robinson, that the items in consent report number 01-2026 received from the clerk be received and adopted. Clerk Costello, can you review the
Your
consent
Worship.
agenda?
Two items this evening. The first being the litigation settlement, a bylaw authorizing Mayor Clerk to sign, and the second being a resolution for the CIP annual monitoring and program activation for 2026.
Would anyone like to pull either item out with further discussion and debate? At that, I call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We have a number of bylaws. Our first is with Councillor McKenna, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Robinson, that a bylaw to adopt the terms of reference for the joint Lanark County 2026 Election Compliance Audit Committee 10662-2026. Oh, I didn't read. We received and read it first time and taken this read a second time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
It's not my night, Your Worship.
Moved by Councillor McKenna, seconded by Councillor Robinson, that a bylaw to adopt the terms of reference for the joint Lanark County 2026 Election Compliance Audit Committee be received for the first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Carried. Discussion?
Yes, this is part of the Municipal Elections Act of 1996. The province, it's a requirement that each municipality or upper tier create this audit committee in the event that there's a complaint about a contravention of the Municipal Election Act. So Smith Falls works with the municipalities of Lanark County, form a arm's length audit committee in the event that such a complaint comes up alleging a contravention, then this audit committee would review that. It's my understanding that since this has been going, committee's not had to come together, which is a good thing, and we hope it continues.
Any further comments? May I have a third reading, please?
Yes, that a bylaw to adopt the terms of reference for the joint Lanark County 2026 Election Compliant Audit Committee be now read a third time and finally signed, passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10662-2026.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor McKenna, seconded by Councillor Robinson. A bylaw to adopt the terms of reference for the joint Lanark County 2026 Election Compliance Audit Committee be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10662-2026. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Councillor McGuire, you're up next.
Right now, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Miller, that a bylaw to adopt a policy that provides direction to members of council and all staff on the administration of corporate resources with respect to election campaign matters be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor McGuire, seconded by Councillor Miller, that bylaw to adopt a policy that provides direction to members of council and all staff on the administration of corporate resources with respect to election campaign matters be received at a first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Carried. Discussion, Councillor McGuire?
Thank you. So this includes members of council, volunteers, third-party advertisers, and municipal staff, and it involves not misusing corporate resources for campaigns so incumbents don't have an unfair advantage. It updates it with social media use and usage of municipal facilities. And there's a complaints and investigation process if the policy isn't followed. So in preparation for this year's election, it's going through tonight.
Thank you. Any further comments? Third reading, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Miller, that a bylaw to adopt a policy that provides direction to members of council and all staff on the administration of corporate resources with respect to election campaign matters be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10663-2026.
Councillor McGuire, seconded by Councillor Miller. The bylaw to adopt a policy that provides direction to members of council and all staff on the administration of corporate resources with respect to election campaign matters be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10663-2026. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And Councillor Miller, you have the next bylaw.
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Quinn that a bylaw to delegate council's authority as per section 275(3) of the Municipal Act to Chief Administrative Officer Malcolm Morris for the period of August 21, 2026 to October 26, 2026, and October 26, 2026 to November 14th, 2026 be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Miller, second by Councillor Quinn, that a bylaw to delegate council's authority as per section 275(3) of the Municipal Act to Chief Administrative Officer Malcolm Morris for the period of August 21st, 2026 to October 26, 2026, and October 26, 2026 to November 14th, 2026 be received and read first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Carrie, discussion please.
Thank you. So we call that the lame duck period leading up to the next election and while we're transitioning to the new council, and it ensures that business continues as usual and tasks get done. So.
Thank you. Just a question to staff. If CEO Morris happened to be off sick or on vacation out of the country during this stretch, does the acting CEO have the same authority?
That is a great question, Your Worship. I think it would have to be written into the bylaw. As it states right now, it's just for Malcolm, for CAO Morris.
So I would suggest, just to be safe, because if we're in lame duck, we probably may not be able to make this decision, that we add after CEO Morris or acting CAO. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the acting CAO at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Shall we start over?
Designate.
Should we reread the first reading again?
That would be a clause I would put into the bylaw itself. So the bylaw to delegate authority would be to the Chief Administrative Officer.
Okay.
If he chooses to delegate that further, that could be written into the bylaw.
Okay.
Okay.
The third reading, please.
Thank you. That a bylaw to delegate council's authority as per section 275(3) of the Municipal Act to Chief Administrative Officer Malcolm Morris for the period of August 21st, 2026 to October 26, 2026 and October 26, 2026 to November 14th, 2026 be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10664-2026.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Miller, second by Councillor Quinn, that a bylaw to delegate council's authority as per section 275(3) of the Municipal Act to Chief Administrative Officer Malcolm Morris for the period of August 21st, 2026 to October 26, 2026 and October 26, 2026 to November 14th, 2026 be now read a third time by phone, passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10664-2026. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And Councillor McKenna, back to you.
Again, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Miller, that a bylaw to adopt the 2026 capital budget for the corporation of the town of Smith Falls be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor McKenna, seconded by Councillor Miller, the bylaw to adopt the 2026 capital budget for the corporation of the town of Smith Falls be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Carried. Discussion?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Council earlier today approved almost $22 million in capital improvements over this year. The bulk of that is roads and sewers, especially feeding into the new water tower. A significant amount of work will go in there. All of the capital items are identified and on our website, and they'll be staged throughout the year, but it's a significant amount of work and it follows closely our asset management plan going forward. So that's it.
Thank you. Any further comments in the capital budget? The third reading, please.
It's been suggested that the third reading be
Oh, yes.
deferred until February, right?
Yes. So third reading will be coming forward. Okay. Councillor Quinn.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor McGuire, that a bylaw designating the downtown Smith Falls Heritage Conservation District and approving the finalized plan be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Quinn, seconded by Councillor McGuire. The bylaw designating the downtown Smith Falls Heritage Conservation District and approving the finalized plan be received for the first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Discussion, Councillor Quinn?
So there have been a few friendly amendments made to this document, and so when referring to the average height of existing buildings, reference to fourth story has been replaced with 3 throughout the document. Section 222, fourth paragraph, replace the word shifted with the word expanded. Section 4313, policies 6, bullet point, replace the word match with fit. Section 4326, side and rear elevations, first bullet point, add the words and HVAC after the word utility. Section 4411, locations, height, and massing, replace the words setback with stepped back. Section 4421, location, height, and, I'm repeating myself here. 452, height, massing, and setback policies, second bullet point, replace the word setback with stepped back. And glossary, friends, remove the word architrave. And appendix B, glossary, mutants, replace photo. Sounds all very interesting, but it all works. So these are the new wordings in this draft that we have.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Yeah.
Councillor Miller?
Thank you. Just given my absence on January 5th when this was discussed at length, I was just going to take a chance to thank the staff that were involved in developing this over the last couple of years, to the Municipal Heritage Committee and to our consultant. This was a massive amount of work, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. There's an urgent need to protect heritage buildings before more fire or damage can occur. And so I support heritage designation across the board. My concern over the last 2 years has really been with landlords that may see this as a reason not to renovate, that they may see this as red tape. And that would be opposite to what we want to happen. So I think as a council and as a future council, we'll need to encourage renovations and repairs, including through the CIP program and making sure the CIP program is funded enough. We'll need to make sure we're adequately staffed so that the process moves along quickly and isn't a deterrent. So I'm glad to support the Heritage Conservation District tonight. I understand there's a built-in caveat that ensures we review this after a year, and I would encourage the next council to do that carefully and make sure that it's working for everybody involved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McGuire?
Thanks. Yeah, it's exciting to have this come to council tonight. It crosses something off our strategic plan, hopefully. Definitely at the MHC meeting last week, there was disappointment that the amendments brought forward on January 5th, there wasn't enough political consensus to bring them. I've also heard from members of the DBA that we're really looking for stronger property standards, stronger enforcement tools for buildings that aren't being kept up, and that those provisions weren't put into to be policy instead of guidelines. I think that overall, well, I know that the consensus at the MHC meeting last week was that it's better to have a plan than no plan. So they added the amendment to the motion supporting it that as per council's direction on January 5th, the MHC will support it because seeing no political route forward for further amendments. I want to read a section from 2.2.2 in the Statement of Cultural Heritage Value, just to get it on the record that this error has just been in there since day one. And the start of the First World War led to difficult economic conditions in Smith Falls until the Second World War due to changing industrial demands. It doesn't really reflect what's in the Smith Falls book or what the history is, where things were strong during the First World War. And then after the First World War, the industrial demand decreased and there was a lot of immigration from Europe. So the labor market increased and that's when the economic trouble started. Then it says the town recovered in the 1940s and early 1950s due to increased demand during the war and subsequent baby boom. However, over the next several decades, many industries closed in Smith Falls as many existing factories were outdated or preferred to relocate to more populated areas. We know Hershey's opened in the 60s. It just doesn't reflect what actually happened, where it was more with globalization, free trade, and offshoring manufacturing that led to that transition. So I pointed out because I think there comes a point where it's really important to have experts, and we wouldn't have this today without experts. But at a certain point, council has a responsibility to go through things and catch stuff and make it right, because when we publish things that have things that aren't quite correct in it, it gets referenced and it perpetuates the misinformation. So I think overall we've got a document here that is going to be better than anything that's come before. I think it's going to be a strong tool to improve our downtown. And I really hope that it meets the objectives we've been working on through this term, and excited. I'd really like to thank Dorothy Hudson, because she's been chair of the MHC for a while, and she's been working on this project for over 15 years now. So big project at the end, and it'll be exciting next year to see the review and see. I hope that we have some projects, so we have some stuff to review, but as projects in our downtown happen, it can be, some years are busier than others. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, and I guess I'd like to thank everybody else from Stantec to staff to council for bringing this forward, because it's I think we're one of the last communities to have one, so it's good to be in the club if this passes tonight.
Thank you. Any further comments?
I want to thank Councillor McGuire for all of that, and this has been an awful lot of work. But you're right, if you don't have anything to guide, then there's nothing there. You have no idea where you're going. So this is a guiding document, one working with people. So thank you.
Yeah, and I just also, Councilor McGuire, I mean, this would not have been happening without you. And you've championed this, the MHC has championed this, stewarded this plan from start to finish. So decades from now, when we look back, we know that there's an impetus for change, for preservation, and that's where it started. So well done. Third reading, please.
Thank you. That a bylaw designating the downtown Smith Falls Heritage Conservation District and approving the finalized plan be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10666-2026.
Thank you. It's moved by Councillor Quinn and seconded by Councillor McGuire that a bylaw designating the downtown Smith Falls Heritage Conservation District and approving the finalized plan be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10666-2026. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Final bylaw is with Councillor Robinson.
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor McGuire that a bylaw to amend bylaw 8712-2014, being a bylaw to establish and regulate the maintenance, operations, and management of the water system for the town of Smith Falls, and to establish the rates and other service charges for use of the system be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Robinson and seconded by Councillor McGuire that a bylaw to amend bylaw 8712-2014, being a bylaw to establish and regulate the maintenance, operations, and management of the water system for the town of Smith Falls, and to establish the rates and other service charges for the use of the system be received or read a first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Carried. Discussion, Councillor Robinson?
Yeah, this is just a bylaw that is going to establish the implementation of the new approved water and wastewater rates before the next round of bills goes out.
Any further comments? Third reading, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McGuire, that a bylaw to amend bylaw 8712-2014, being a bylaw to establish and regulate the maintenance, operations, and management of the water system for the town of Smiths Falls, and to establish the rates and other service charges for use of the system, be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10667-2026.
Thank you. It's moved by Councillor Robinson and seconded by Councillor McGuire. The bylaw to amend bylaw 8712-2014, being a bylaw to establish and regulate the maintenance, operations, and management of the water system for the town of Smiths Falls, and to establish the rates and other service charges for use of the system, be now read a third time. And finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10667-2026. All in favor? Carried. Any inquiries or announcements? We have no trivia tonight, I guess. We didn't plan for that. Confirmatory bylaws with Councillor Quinn, please.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Miller, that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meetings on the 1st and 15th days of December 2025, and its meetings on the 5th and 12th days of January 2026 be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time.
Thank you. It's moved by Councillor Quinn, seconded by Councillor Miller. The bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting on the 1st and 15th days of December 2025, at its meetings on the 5th and 12th days of January 2026 be received or read a first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Carried. Discussion, Councillor Quinn?
This is just something that happens all the time so that we know that all of our council proceedings have been approved and are exact as they should be.
Any further comments? Third reading, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Miller, that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meetings on the 1st and 15th days of December 2025, and its meetings on the 5th and 12th days of January 2026 be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10668-2026.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Quinn, seconded by Councillor Miller. The bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting on the 1st and 15th days of December 2025, and its meetings on the 5th and 12th days of January 2026, be now read a third time, finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10668-2026. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And our adjournment. Councillor
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McKenna, that this council adjourn its proceedings at 6:36 p.m. and stand so adjourned until the next duly called meeting of council.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Robinson, second by Councillor McKenna. This council adjourns proceedings at 6:36 p.m. and stand so adjourned until the next duly called meeting of council. All in favor? We are adjourned. Good night, everyone.